On the basis of topographic features, India is divided in 5 physiographic or physical divisions. The northern plain is one of those which has been further subdivided on the basis of the rivers like Satluj plain, Ganga plain and Brahmaputra plain. Gangetic plain on the basis of topographic features has further been divided in 3 parts: Upper Ganga plain, Middle Ganga plain and Lower Ganga plain. Today let us have study of Lower Ganga plain. This is the map of Lower Ganga plain, which is mostly dominated by the West Bengal plain. Let us study its location. Locations are of 2 types. One, astronomical location, wherein latitude longitude is shown. The second, geographical location. Astronomically, this study area extends from 21 degree 25 minute north latitude to 26 degree and 50 minute north latitude, and longitudinally its extent is from 86 degree 30 minute east longitude to 89 degree 58 minute east longitude. Now come to its area. Its total geographical area is 80,968 kilometer square. Its geographical location is here demarcated on the north by 150 meter contour line, and this plain, this Lower Ganga plain, is separated from the Himalayan region by this Duar region, which is the southernmost part of Shivalik Tarai, Shivalik Bhabhar, and here you are seeing that to the south of Sikkim, here it is Darjeeling, the northernmost district of West Bengal, and Jalpaiguri and Siliguri are the areas which are located at the foothill of Shivalik, and this foothill is also called Duar. Duar is a local term used here for Bhabhar. There are 2 terms, one Dwar, the other Duar. Dwar like Haridwar, Kotadwar are used for the Bhabhar region of the Shivalik mountain in western part, while in eastern part the same Bhabhar is termed Duar. Its northeastern boundary is demarcated again by 150 meter contour line, and it is separated from Bhutan, our neighboring country. To the east it is Assam state of India, where there is Dhubari, Goyalpada, Kukrajhar and Barpeta district, and the easternmost district of this Lower Ganga plain is Cooch Behar, which is also the easternmost district of the West Bengal. One noteworthy thing here is that here in Cooch Behar district there are 2 villages, Angarpota and Dahagram, which politically belong to Bangladesh, and for the approach of Bangladesh to these 2 villages, Angarpota and Dahagram, India has given here corridor named Teen Bigha corridor. Now to the east of this study area means Lower Ganga plain. It is international border with Bangladesh, and here it is West Dinajpur and East Dinajpur. West Dinajpur district in India, West Bengal, while East Dinajpur district in Bangladesh. Now the border of this Lower Ganga plain are West Bengal with Bangladesh is here demarcated by a natural line river named River Haryabhanga, which drains into the Bay of Bengal, and at its mouth there are a number of islands. One, New Island, is significant from political viewpoint because there often dispute rises between India and Bangladesh. Thus, it is the eastern boundary of this lower Ganga plain or West Bengal. Now come to the south. The southern boundary is demarcated by the coast line, wherein the north and south 24 Pargana districts are located here, and to the southwest it is Midnapur district, wherein Digha beach is located. Midnapur district is the southwesternmost district of West Bengal, or say lower Ganga plain. Its boundary with the Odisha coastal plain is demarcated by river Suvarnarekha, and it is river Suvarnarekha which demarcates the state boundary between West Bengal and Odisha. Very noteworthy thing regarding this river Suvarnarekha is, if there is question how the eastern coastal plain is separated with the lower Ganga plain coast, then it is river Suvarnarekha which separates the eastern coastal plain of India from the lower Ganga plain. Otherwise, the topographic features or depositional features of the east coast plain and the lower Ganga plain are the same, but it is the Suvarnarekha river which separates the two. On the west, it is 150 meter contour line which separates this West Bengal or lower Ganga plain from this Odisha state and here Jharkhand state. This you are knowing that the part of Chota Nagpur plateau, and here you are seeing that it is Mandargiri hill, the northeasternmost tip of Raj Mahal hill. As you are seeing here that here it is the northeastward extension of Raj Mahal hill, and on its northern tip it is the Mandargiri hill. Now to the west it is 150 meter contour line. Here it is very important thing that you should keep in mind. You should consult here map also, because when you are studying the western boundary of this lower Ganga plain, then its western boundary is by 150 meter contour line. But if you are studying the West Bengal state, then the easternmost districts of this Chota Nagpur plateau are included in West Bengal. For example, Raniganj, Jharia, Asansol, and here Purulia districts are the geographical, physiographic and geological part of Chota Nagpur plateau, consisting of oldest Gondwana rocks. But politically this falls in the West Bengal state. When we are studying the geography of the lower Ganga plain, those areas of Raniganj, Jharia, Purulia, other districts are excluded from this lower Ganga plain by 150 meter contour line. That's why here you should consult map very minutely, because it is transition between the oldest Gondwana formation and the youngest alluvium formation of Holocene period. Again to the north, it is river Ganga which demarcates the western boundary of this lower Ganga plain, and again in the north it is here 150 meter contour, and then it is here boundary between this lower Ganga plain and to the west middle Ganga plain that we have already studied, that here it is about 30 meter contour line that separates the lower Ganga plain and the middle Ganga plain, and also demarcates state political boundary between Bihar and West Bengal. Moving again to the north, it is the Nepal, our neighboring country, which is completely mountainous area. To its south, it is Churia Muria or Churia Ghati hill range, and here it is 150 meter contour that separates the lower Ganga plain from Nepal foothill region. And to again north, this is the state boundary between Nepal and West Bengal, and again reaching at the same beginning point, it is Duar and 150 meter contour line. Thus, geographically, it is bounded by 1, 2 and 3 neighboring countries and our other states. Most of the boundaries are here geographical, either along 150 meter contour line or along some rivers. Thus it is very unique state, mostly asked during competitions, that which is the state in India having all the 4 physiographic regions of India, for example Himalayan region and Gangetic plain, plateau region and coastal plain. Then you will say that it is the West Bengal state, which comprises the Himalayas region, especially Darjeeling, the plateau region, especially Purulia, Raniganj, Jharia and other districts, and the coastal plain like North and South 24 Pargana and remaining middle part of the Gangetic plain consisting of newer alluvium. One very noteworthy thing is that it contains extreme geological diversity. For example, in the west it consists of the Gondwana slopy terrain having very old formation. In the north consists of tertiary period formation of Shivalik foothill, and in the middle, especially along the rivers, the newest alluvium of 2019. Thus, newest alluvium of the latest year. Thus, its formation is diverse. Now, we have to study its formation, how this came into existence. Here, due to down warping of Bay of Bengal geosyncline, it is here Bay of Bengal geosyncline, it underwent down warping. There are 2 large geosynclines on our planet Earth. First largest one is this Bay of Bengal geosyncline, which is undergoing subduction. The second is Mexico Gulf geosyncline, which is also undergoing subduction due to voluminous amount of sediment deposited by Mississippi and Missouri. And here it is Ganga system and Brahmaputra system, which is depositing sediment here each year. That's why it is undergoing subduction. It is called down warping. And the up warping of the Delhi Ridge and Arakan-Yoma Andaman Sumatra tract. Here the second The first one is the down warping of this Bay of Bengal geosyncline. At the same time, two up warping tracts are there. Along this Delhi Ridge and Western Ghat Mountain, this region is uplifting. It is called upwarping. The same is happening here in the eastern part. Arakan, Yoma, Andaman and Sumatra tract are built. It is also rising due to tectonic forces. This is rising, and this is undergoing subduction. Thus, the formation of this West Bengal state, or say Lower Ganga plain, is ascribed to the tectonic activities, and this is the reason that here there was a Shivalik river or Indo-Brahm river turned southward, hence Malda Gap was formed. Here at the place of Shivalik mountain in geological past, one river used to flow from east to west named Shivalik. Its name was also Indo-Brahm river, which joined Indus river, drained into Arabian Sea. Due to the upwarping of Delhi and origin of this Shivalik, the river water of that Indo-Brahm turned south because this down warped, and at the same time the Ganga and Jamuna, which originated and flowed west, started moving east, and the confluence of Saraswati that was in Haryana, now it is in Prayagraj, and the drainage of Ganga and Yamuna system from west to east reached here, and the collective water of Brahmaputra, Ganga and Yamuna system deposited sufficient amount of sediment here, hence it downwarped. The evidences of which are here found even today. If the sediment deposited here in the Malda Gap is taken out or removed, then at the base one will get here laterite soil as it is found in the Chota Nagpur plateau and here in Meghalayas, and the basal structure of that formation will be here that of Chota Nagpur and Meghalayan region. Thus, due to downwarping here, the low-lying area is called Malda Gap, which is located between Chota Nagpur plateau and Meghalaya plateau, and structurally the Chota Nagpur plateau and Meghalaya plateau and the basal rocks of this Malda Gap are uniform of the same period. Thus, the formation of Malda Gap is ascribed to the turning down south of this Indo-Brahm river due to the uprising of Delhi and this Arakan, Yoma, Andaman and Sumatra tract. Thus, this is the geological formation of the study area. About whether this is a story or it has some geographical reality, for it there are a number of evidences. In delta, erect roots of Sundari trees and peats occurring at about 6 to 11 meter depth and 150 meter below the sea level reveal subsidence of delta. When we study the delta here, this is the entire deltaic region. In the beginning, delta was here. River Ganga used to drain into Bay of Bengal at this point, but gradually, due to depositional process, delta extended southward. Even today, this delta is progressing, extending in south direction due to large amount of sedimentation by the Ganga system, and here this delta is now called Moribund Delta, means now it has been covered with the cultural landscape, agriculture, settlement, transport, etc. To its south, here it is mature delta, and again in the southernmost part along the coastline it is active delta, which is undergoing deposition of sediment, and it is progressing ahead, and it is evidenced by a number of islands like Sagar Island, Nimur Island, and others. Here there may be a question by UPSC whether this area of 24 North and South 24 Pargana is extending or decreasing, because here two factors are working. Number one, continuous deposition of sand and sediment at the head of this Bay of Bengal. Due to it, there is progression of delta. Second, it is the phase of global warming and sea level rising. Due to sea level rising, the coastal tract is undergoing subduction and it is being submerged, or it is being inundated under the waters of this sea. Thus, it may be a puzzle, but its answer is very much clear that in spite of sea level rising and here undergoing subduction, the rate of sedimentation is more, hence here delta is progressing and here new lands are being developed by the depositional process. Now here one very important thing is that if we dig here at the depth of 6 to 11 meter, there is erect Sundari trees, and if we continue that digging at the depth of about 150 meter, here we will get erect Sundari roots, Sundari trees, and this shows that in geological past these forests, Sundari Ban, might have been on the land or surface, and how they are found today at the depth of 150 meter, it is now clear that this area might have been submerged, and here we are seeing that tectonic forces are here active, and especially along this Malda Gap, Kosi and Everest, it is tectonically very much active and sensitive. That's why at such depth the erect Sundari trees are found. This is very important evidence of the undergoing or downwarping of this study area. Now let us come to study its relief or its major topography. As you are saying that its general gradient is from in the northern part from northwest to southeast, in the southern part from north to south, and its average slope or gradient is 2 cm per kilometer. Now to study its topography, we have to look at its drainage first. Here you are seeing that it is river Tista, which is originating from the greater Himalayas, draining through Sikkim, the neighboring state of West Bengal. Then it is entering here in this plain area at the foothill of Shivalik in Jalpaiguri, and then it is draining through the northern districts of West Bengal and then entering the Bangladesh, hence it is international river. Then here, although not shown, there is very important river Mahananda, which drains along the eastern border of Nepal, then enters in India and it makes border generally between the West Bengal and Bihar, and on the basis of this Mahananda Express has been named, and there are a number of express trains named after rivers like Mahananda Express, Shipra Express. That's why it is your moral and national duty to learn to have a clear cut concept of the location and characteristics of those rivers. Especially it is duty of geographers. That's why you will see here Mahananda river. Now come again south. This is river Ganga. You are seeing that the direction of Ganga in the middle Ganga plain or Bihar was from west to east. It is Mandargiri hill that restricts Ganga to move southeast. That's why Ganga in Bihar or middle Ganga plain is from west to east. As it crosses this Mandargiri, northeasternmost tip of this Chota Nagpur plateau in Godda district, it turns suddenly southeast, and here it is Murshidabad district, where the Farakka barrage on river Ganga has been constructed. It is very important barrage of international issue. In India, there are two large size barrages, one Harike barrage in Punjab, the other Farakka barrage in West Bengal. These are also large size wetlands, and wetland management is also practiced there. Then this river, according to slope, enters the West Bengal and makes its delta in West Bengal, while from this barrage one distributary means Hooghly has been served with the water, is being served with the water. Thus this is river Hooghly that may be called the distributary of river Ganga, and you are seeing that it is following a meandering path and joining this Bay of Bengal, and there are a number of distributaries of river Ganga. Here, for example, this river Haryabhanga, making border between this West Bengal or Lower Ganga plain and Bangladesh, forms natural political boundary, and this is the region that at the mouth of Haryabhanga, Newmore Island is a matter of dispute between India and Bangladesh, and the main question is, it is being formed by the sediment brought down by the Haryabhanga river, and its catch Haryabhanga gains sediment from both the countries, Bangladesh as well as West Bengal. Thus, there are a number of tributaries of this Ganga. One noteworthy thing is that Ganga, just entering here in the West Bengal, is named Padma, and when this is joined by Brahmaputra or Jamuna, it is called Meghna. Now come to the south, it is river Mayurakshi, and you are again seeing that although the slope of the northern part of this Lower Ganga plain was from northwest to southeast, but in the half southern part of Lower Ganga plain, its general slope is from north to south, but in the western part of this West Bengal or Lower Ganga plain is from west to east. Here, why it is so? It is because of the location of here highland like Chota Nagpur plateau, the rainwater of which drains eastward according to slopy terrain, and the same is the case here with river Damodar. It originates in this Chota Nagpur plateau region and first drains southeastward, then as it gets very gentle slope from north to south, it turns south. There may be question whether this river Damodar is a tributary of river Hooghly or it directly joins the Bay of Bengal. It is to be watched on map very minutely and keenly, and the answer is that river Damodar first joins Hooghly, and the Hooghly containing its water joins this head of Bay of Bengal. Here there are several points like Haldia Port, Kolkata Port, and a number of other locations which you should study on the map of West Bengal. And while studying the West Bengal, we will be studying these things very minutely. And about the Suvarnrekha, we have already discussed that originating from plateau region, it drains nearly along the border of Odisha state and the West Bengal state, and it also separates the Odisha coastal plain or eastern coastal plain of India and the lower Ganga plain in West Bengal, or lower Ganga plain in West Bengal, or West Bengal coastal plain. Now, on the basis of its varying topography and drainage, it is being divided in several topographic or sub-topographic divisions. For example, number one is Duars, which are found mostly in Jalpaiguri and Darjeeling districts. In the south of Darjeeling Hill Station, Darjeeling district, and especially in Jalpaiguri, Duar is located. As we have discussed, in west it is Dwar and in east it is Duar, and both are the deposition of the Bhabhar. Second is slopy margins of Chota Nagpur, and it is dominated by Gondwana rocks or formation. This is the western part, and it is of Gondwana formation. It has a steep slope because it is the eastern margin of this peninsular plateau, where it is 150 meter contour line, and there is abrupt change in topography. Hence, this margin is of steep slope, as well as it is made up of the oldest Gondwana structure. Third topography is Midnapur coast. We are saying here that it is Midnapur coast, and here Digha beach is located. Its western boundary by Suvarnrekha, southern boundary coastline. Thus, this is the coastal region, and one coastal region is here in the east, north and south 24 Pargana district, but there is the topographic variation between this Midnapur coast and this 24 Pargana district, because the 24 Pargana district is characterized with the active delta, while not Midnapur coast. Now, fourth is active delta. Here in the south, we are seeing that the north and south 24 Pargana districts are located along the coastline, and in these two there is 7 meter high tide can submerge Kolkata. In these two there is a deposition of active delta, and it is a continuous process wherein new alluvium per year per day is being deposited, and it is active delta. If 7 meter high tide comes, then this is being submerged. It means Kolkata city may also be submerged. It is under risk if the height of tide is say 1 meter, and there is again risk before Kolkata city because there are two problems. One, the catastrophic effect of tide. The second, here the geophysical process that is causing downwarping here, and it is undergoing subduction. Now, next point is 4 parallel lines of stabilized 4 dunes. Here you are seeing that there are 4 dunes. Sand dunes are formed in dry, desert, hot regions due to aeolian or wind process, but 4 dunes are the dune found along the coastal land. As we know that here the coastal areas are characterized with delta, and during rainy season delta is wet or moist, but during summers the sand or alluvium of delta dries up, and here there is also aeolian process due to sea breeze and land breeze, and this continuous sea and land breeze shifts the coastal dry sand, and the sand dunes are formed which are parallel to the coast called 4 dunes. Here it is the largest delta of the world. Hence, here there are 4 parallel sand dunes, and wonderful thing is that these are also stabilized sand dunes, and these are about 13 meter above the sea level. Now the next topography is bills. Bills are actually swamps and marshes. As we know that the southern half of the lower Ganga plain or West Bengal has very gentle slope, and due to that slope rivers follow meandering path, and whatsoever rainwater of the plain reaches here, it is being stored in the low-lying areas. These low-lying areas are called bills. These bills are of 2 types. Number 1, swamps, and number 2, marsh. Swamps means the land waterlogged for the entire year, while marsh is seasonally waterlogged. During summer it dries up, but both are very useful fertile lands having sufficient soil moisture and water body there. That's why this is the West Bengal or say lower Ganga plain that is best suited for the 3 paddy crops almond, oats and boro. And here this is very low lying area, so very saturated soil. Next point is Moriband Delta. It is located here. As we have discussed that in the beginning delta formation started at the source of this Hooghly river, and with the march of time this delta progressed south, which is still progressing, and now this delta is very old delta and it is called Moriband Delta, now characterized with the development of cultural landscape like agriculture, settlement, population, transport network, etc. Thus, this is about the Moriband Delta. To its south, it is mature delta. In coming days, it will also become Moriband Delta, and then here it is active delta. With the passage of time, will be converted into mature delta and Moriband Delta. Now, next is Barind Plain. Barind Plain is made up of older alluvium, not newer alluvium, and it is located between the Kosi and the Sankos river. It is here Barind Plain. It is made up of older alluvium. Here in the south it is newer alluvium. Newer alluvium of this year is found here, but in geological past this was newer, but today it is solidified and has become older. Here there is a river Kosi that we have studied in the Middle Ganga plain and in the study of Bihar, that originates from the Everest of Nepal and drains southward. It turns its course westward, famous for its bed shifting. And here this is one river Sankos and one is here Mahananda. Between this Sankos river and between this Kosi river, it is Barind plain. This entire northern part is a Barind plain, wherein district is West Midnapur, West Dinajpur. West Dinajpur district is located. Thus, this is about the lower Ganga plain are mostly West Bengal, and if you will have this base map in your mind, it will help you in study the lower Ganga plain, its landscape, especially agriculture, settlement, population distribution, railroad transport network, drainage, everything, and this will help you as a base map to study here the agroclimatic region of the lower Ganga plain and its regional planning.